I have an exclusive new pack leak coming out in the selection pack coming out tonight in the Lacrima pack that Konami did not announce, and it's actually a good deck. We're going to be playing with the new leak and the new pack on twitch.tv/dcade and a $1,000 tournament qualifier with all the new stuff. Now, to reveal the leak, let's click on the search, and on the filter, we'll type in not released, and whatever I type into here is going to be the deck. Boom. Punk. The new Punk cards will be coming out with the new selection pack. Now, how do we know if this is even good? Well, let's click on any of the cards here. And if there is TCG or OCG stats, that is a good tell that it may be good. So let's click on that. Boom. It's going to bring us on over to Yu-Gi-Oh! Meta. Now, where's the no decks available? What the heck? Well, that's TCG because it's not even out in the TCG yet. Coming out in Master Duel before the TCG. So let's click on OCG. And there we go. We could see a decent amount of tournament tops. Looks like it's even being played in Orcus. You what, mate? But beyond that, we got Punk, top 8 of a 340-player event, 384-player event, top 4. That is great. Now, why is this so good? Well, what makes a deck good generally is a lot more than the deck just being consistent. If you have your deck very consistently setting up a Punk Xiamen, well, what if they're saving their negate for this? This could be the most consistent thing ever, and you're still going to lose. So another factor of what makes a deck really good is what I like to call hand trap resilience. The ability to play through hand traps. And then the other pillar, which is important too, is the power ceiling of your deck. What are you putting up after a completed turn 1? Well, this not only makes the deck more consistent, it also gives you hand trap resilience. So to summon this, you're going to banish a Punk card from your hand or graveyard to special summon this from your hand. Then, on special summon, you could pay 600 to take a Punk monster from your deck or graveyard, except at level 8, either add it to your hand or special summon it. So it's not just another way to search the Punk Xiamen, it's not another normal summon in the deck, activatable from the hand. And in fact, what you could do is with a Punk Xiamen, you could search for this directly. And you may be thinking, well, do you have a Punk in the hand or in the graveyard? You do not need that. So let's showcase that through one of these decks here. As you normal summon your Punk Xiamen, you'll be searching for the brand new card, the Rising Scale. There's also another new card I want to talk about. And then you're going to turn the Punk Xiamen into an Almirage. By putting it into the graveyard for the Almirage, you can now banish the Punk Xiamen for your Rising Scale play. And that is a simplified play. But beyond that, if you're just making regular plays and you already have this in your hand, as I was saying, it gives you great hand trap resilience to play through disruption. Now, what's going to be increasing the power level of this deck? That's going to be the Punk Jam Fever. This brand new card does help not only increase the power level of the deck, but if summoned at the correct time, it could also give you hand trap resilience. I'm going to tell you a tip against this deck, and I would say that the main choke point of the deck is going to be the Rising Carp. It is very costly to tribute this to then summon 2 bodies from the deck, and that's when you're going to want to use your Ash Blossom. Well, Konami knows that you want to Ash the Rising Carp, and that's why the deck may not be that good. So with the new Jam Fever, your goal is going to be to summon this first, ideally, and then go into the Rising Carp play. So for example, if your opening hand is a single 1-card Ogre Dance, you can play through an Ash Blossom attempting to be used on a Rising Carp. You'll use the Ogre Dance to search for your Xiamen. Your Xiamen will summon, then searching for the Rising Scale. And then you're going to banish the Ogre Dance to summon the Rising Scale. And then from there, you're going to use the effect of the Rising Scale to summon from the deck a Sharakusai. And then you're going to keep the Sharakusai on the field. You're going to turn the Xiamen and the Rising Scale into your Amazing Dragon, which will then reborn a monster from the graveyard back on the field. And then this is when you perform your Xyz summon with just 1 monster, because it has the additional effect of you can Xyz over a Punk Fusion or Synchro you control. So you're now going to turn the Amazing Dragon into a Jam Fever, and then its effect states that when another monster effect is activated, you could detach a material from this card, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that monster. And because it negates the activation, it can be activated even in the damage step. So while you have this over the Amazing Dragon, you can now safely use your Shirakusai to fuse into the Rising Carp, not using the Jam Fever, it's just going to be alongside it. And then you could safely use Rising Carp, summon 2 bodies from the deck, which will be something like, where's the Deer Note at? Deer Note over there, and then a Wagon, and then you're going to super pop off from there. We're going to watch some gameplay of this. So if they were to Ash, you just very simply negate. Now, let's hop into the gameplay. Now you saw the deck list here. This is a good deck list, and I'll show you one more deck list that looks good. Could even see the event in which it did well in. So I think we'll click on this, click on that. Here we go. This is another version of the deck list here, very similar to what you were just looking at. And then the event it did well in. Looks like it was a team event. Now, let's do a huge shout out to El Exordio Duelista, where the Mad Lad has great gameplay of his deck only 5 months ago, which usually, when we're looking at an El Exordio video for a new deck, this usually says 9 months ago. That's how early we're getting these new deck cards within tonight's pack. So let's whip this out. Let's see what's going on. All right away, we got the Punk Xiamen searching. And we're going to go into our Almirage. As we were saying, Rising Scale is going to banish the Xiamen, summon itself onto the field, and then it's going to attempt to summon from the deck, Imperm, negate. That's fine. Now, me telling you this plays through hand traps is also meaning that it could eat hand traps. If they're wasting an Imperm or a Veiler or an Ash Blossom onto it, and you can still use your other cards, that is great. You want that in your deck. Now, let's follow up from here. Ogre Dance going to search our deck for the Shirakusai. We're going to use the Deer Note to special summon the Wagon, which will then be searching our deck for a field spell. The field spell will be another way to summon a body from our hand. Going into the Amazing Dragon here. First, we're going to use the field spell, then activate the Amazing Dragon Reborn from the graveyard back of the field, the Rising Scale. And just like that, the 1 synchro play into an Xyz for a monster negate. As we now fuse with the Shirakusai to the Rising Carp, draw a card with the field spell, and there you go, the Ash on point on the Rising Carp, perfectly negating Ash Blossom on the Rising Carp. That's exactly when they want to Ash, and this is exactly when you want to negate. Now, ideally, you're not ashing if they have a negate, but I guess you may as well use up their negate, because once they lose their material, it's going to be no good. Then they're going to go into the Dragon Drive, which could be searching for an Ogre, by the way. And what's so good about Ogre? Well, Blue Eyes being the best deck in the meta right now, so a searchable Ogre deck, maybe skyrocketing within the sphere of top tier decks. I don't think this will actually be tier 1, of course not. I don't even think tier 2, but if it's good enough to be tier 3, that's a good spot to be in. You want to be a great deck capable of Master 1, sometimes see it in a tournament, because then no one's going to expect your deck. They're going to misplay against your deck, and you don't have to worry about your deck ever reaching the ban list. And speaking of the ban list, Konami actually hinted at this deck coming out because Emergency Teleport is unlimited, right? Didn't that just happen on the ban list? So let's see how they play this out real quick. All right. Discard, summon a Diablo Star here. Now, the Mad Lad's playing Silhouette Rabbit because he probably doesn't want to cheese with Fiendsmith, but this deck is definitely better with Fiendsmith instead. So instead of the Silhouette Rabbit, you go into the Moon of the Closed Heaven, which may be less exciting for this video. So we're going to summon the Azure Rune, pop the back row. We're going to use the Dangerous Gabu. It's going to be a negate. And then if they're going to be making any plays with the Azure Rune, we're going to use the Shirakusai to synchro during their turn. And the Amazing Dragon could also spin multiple cards in their field back to the hand if we wanted to. And then let's wrap up this duel, yes? Amazing Dragon, Reborn, Rising Scale. Now, look at that. Rising Scale doesn't just summon from the deck, also from the grave. So we had a legally summoned Amazing Dragon from the previous turn. Now back on the field. Holy moly. So let's watch one more, and then we're going to wrap this up. We're going to get hit by the Moonlight Chill. We're going to have Ash Blossom negate the Foxy Tune. That's double hand trap used on us so far. Sure, can we play through it? Well, look at that. We got the Rising Scale eating up an Impermanence. 3 hand traps. That's right. Your deck's now done, right? It's over. Well, is it? We're going to further go into the Amazing Dragon. You can't see it. My fingers are up, holding up for every hand trap that's been used. Now we have the Jam Fever to eat up a 4th hand trap if there even is one. Probably not. So as you can see, the goal is to protect your Shirakusai. There's a Nibiru, and we have the Jam Fever mate for that negate. 4 hand traps, the Rising Scale, and Jam Fever helped us play through. So as I was saying, consistency, hand trap resilience, power ceiling or power level, whatever you want to refer to as making your end board better than usual. That is everything the new support for Punks has received. And that's why you could see a bunch of tournament topping decks where normally, sometimes when I'm leaking, there's pretty much nothing in terms of tournament tops. And he's going to be finishing this up now. I'm sure only one card left in the hand. Let's speed this up. There's no way that you could play after the... This is the same turn? Really? Okay, 4 hand traps and we're still cooking? What the hell? That's a lot of disruption. Now, off the top of their deck, they got Trudea. We're going to be negating the Trudea with the Gabu, sure. Now, let's see what else they have. They should just be scooping this up. Going into the Typhon, which the Azurune will just be very simply negating, and just like that, El Exordio Duelista with the top tier showcase. I'll make sure to showcase their deck real quick. Very nice. So a great showcase of the hand trap resilience and the consistency that Rising Skill now provides Punk. And this is the deck list. So you could consider playing something like this or something closer to the tournament top and deck list I showcased to you, or you could just go to YugiOhMeta.com to look up the decks yourself. And there you go. That's all I got. I'll see you on twitch.tv/Decade. And yeah, the elephant in the room, the leaks are not over. We're going to be getting back to leaking within the stream after this one, very likely. I'm not sure if I'm going to be whipping out leaks on this stream or not. So do look forward to that on twitch.tv. We've got the weekly $1,000 tournament qualifier tournaments and also the weekly leaks. And with that said, we are out.